was crazy loud, quite filthy. Really farty, raspy sound. Hello everyone, welcome back, and we're back inside the ST. So obviously, you know, those who follow my channel, you know, you'll see the previous video where I had the exhaust done and I found it really loud. That's quite noisy inside the car. Like it sounds awesome from, you know, the outside, and when you're booting it, it sounds mint. It sounds pretty good. But inside the drone is just too much for a car that's not just purely for a weekend spin. You know, I do sort of nip now and again to the shops and go to work in it and stuff like that, so it's a bit of a daily driver slash weekend car. And yeah, so I'm going back to the exhaust place, Top Gear in Stockport, and we're gonna have a resonator fitted, because as everything that happened in the previous video, that seemed to be what was missing, both talking to Top Gear themselves, but also everyone on Instagram and Facebook as well, and even the YouTube comments. That generally was the consensus. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but one thing that I may lose, not completely, but I may lose a chunk of, is all the burbles and little pops and stuff that this does. Every little gear change I do, and every little like lift off of the accelerator, it's just constantly going blah 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 blah, and it sounds so good. But yeah, the drone is just too much. So I'm just setting off now. Not sure how well that comes across on camera, but just a little acceleration is very noisy. So now I'm gonna have to wait like over 9 hours, but for you, it'll all happen now.
One eternity later.
Okay, so this is a little bit weird and actually feels strange, because the last time I filmed was when I was going to be picking the car up after the resonator was being fitted, and hoping that it would solve the deep, loud noise of the exhaust. I've just got to the services, which I'll explain in a minute, but there's the car parked behind me. See, apologies if you can't hear me very well. I've just done this off the cuff. Actually, let me get in the car. Sorry if you couldn't hear very well. I might repeat myself now, just in case you didn't hear me. Well, basically, I'm sat here in a services, quite far from home. I've travelled sort of 45 miles to get here, meeting this lad halfway, because he had a Milltek catback for sale. The reason I'm in this situation is because when I did go and have a resonator fitted to the custom part of the exhaust, the catback, we thought, and I say we, I mean like me and people on forums and on Instagram who messaged me and after the video said you need a resonator, you know, and it sounded like the right option, but it's actually made no difference. So it seems like it's the back box. And when I was speaking to the Top Gear in Stockport company that did do the catback, I should have really specified that, you know, I didn't want it to be really noisy. Obviously I want a sporty, you know, sounding exhaust, because I'm going full exhaust manifold, cat and back box. But yeah, it's way too loud and it just didn't make any difference. So the back box, it, as someone described it, it's a bit like a straight through. It's got no baffling in it at all. It's basically got like a bit of a curved pipe from where it meets from where now the resonator is down to the exit of the exhaust in the back box, and that's it. There's just like a bit of a pipe. There's nothing inside of there to reduce the tone down of the exhaust, and because it's like a Scorpion, a 2.5 inch, not a 2.36 inch, it's not raspy, which obviously a lot of people don't like. So I'm hoping actually when it comes to sell this catback, there will be people, and it does seem like there is, because actually I was talking to someone recently who actually did want to buy it, but it was too far away to do a swap, is if they want just a catback, it would be perfect. Honestly, I would have kept this. If I wasn't doing like any more performance mods and I was just having a catback, no resonator, no sports cat, no manifold, etc., then it'd be perfect. But yeah, so basically I'm here waiting for someone who has it's a non-res, But I'm hoping, because of the slightly smaller tube of the Milltek, the 2.36, and because of the design of the back box, it has a more of a raspy, tinny sound compared to the one I've got, which is a larger bore, and because of the basically bit of a straight-through back box, or the way it's designed anyway, it should be hopefully less in decibels. On the way here to the services was crazy loud. I know some people love a loud exhaust, but because I've got the sports car, it seems, and the Manifold, it is just way too loud. But anyway, I've talked enough. Hopefully the guy will turn up pretty soon and I'll be able to buy it off him, and then probably give it a good clean, and then we'll go and see what it is like. Okay, so bit of a funny story. After all that bit I was talking on, I'll show you what happened. But basically what we've got here is, it's the back box. We have got the Milltek back box, and if you can just see it there, it does say Milltek, and it looks to me like to be the right one. So I picked this up from another person off one of the owners club, as I mentioned, but what had happened is, the reason why I've only come back with the back box is because the centre section that they had, I could tell even without looking at a picture, but then just to back it up, I did look at a picture. Basically, it had looked like it had been cut. It must have been cut to fit some other D-cat or sports cat that I don't know of. But anyway, so I just bought this off him, and then the next day, which is today, I've ordered myself from Roadrunner Milltek the non-res centre section. Now, I've been umming and ahhing about the centre section, so when I've said that, people are probably going like, I thought you think you're saying it's too loud and all this kind of thing. Well, the thing is, I want to try it because I do want more noise. It's just when it's like on a long distance journey, which isn't that regular, and a little bit of normal driving, I don't want it to be super droney. And I've been talking to some people who have actually had long life custom exhausts, and what they've said is they've actually gone from a custom, which was super loud, to a Milltek, and it was quite a big difference. So it sounds like that's kind of the sweet spot what I want, something that's quite loud when I put my foot down, but then not too bad just on long journeys. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is, this might turn into a little separate tutorial. I'm going to try and get this looking as new as possible. And as you can see, it does look quite filthy. Yeah, I mean, there's a little remnants there of the old stainless steel shining through, and the rest of the pipe. Now, I don't need to get this bit or this bit looking perfect. I just want to get mainly the tip, just for my peace of mind, just get this looking a little bit nicer, try and sort of clean it all up, make it, you know, nice and clean and as good as I can get it with just stuff I've got in the house. Done. It wasn't actually that hard, and I'm really glad it's something that I've actually done myself, because something like taking off an exhaust, I know it's probably only a catback, so it's nothing crazy like a manifold. But just, you know, jacking the car up, getting under and doing something like myself, I'm quite proud of doing that. But it seems like it all fits okay. I did a quick test, and it didn't seem like there was any like air coming out of the gaps, sort of any blowing, I think it's called. But I'm just gonna start the car again, and yeah, just listen to what it sounds like. It's just got a bit of noise to it. It's got a little bit more of that kind of farty, raspy rally sound that I like, or that I knew I would like. I wish I'd just got a new one from scratch, but you know, lesson learned. But like I said, it's cool that I know I have actually done this. One thing that is a shame, I don't know if I can somehow get this adjusted, or maybe I can if I do a custom tip, but then I don't want to change the note of the car, the exhaust note. But if it doesn't change it much, the only thing that I would like is for the exhaust tip to actually stick out a bit, because if I actually get the camera, it's sort of sunk in a little bit. Now obviously I know it's got the maxed in diffuser, so that sticks out more than the normal one. I've got it to sit pretty central in the circle, but if that kind of makes sense, can you see what I mean? How like it sits in a little bit too much. I'd like it to be more like maybe half an inch to an inch further out than it is. Again, if you see how like it's sort of hidden. I mean, in a way, maybe that's quite cool because it's a little bit more stealthy. It's not like in your face, which maybe that is a nice thing. Let me know in the comments below. I mean, I know that when it's hot, it probably will move out half an inch anyway. I know it expands. So yeah, but you know, it's basically pretty much flush with the exit sort of tailpipe area of the maxing diffuser. So it's quite cool. It feels like it sort of sits pretty perfectly, but it would be nice if it did just come out a little bit. That mount, if I can get my hands pointed at it properly, that mount up there, that was a pain to get that one in there. But yeah, it seems to fit all okay. Do you know, it's not until you run under here that you can see sort of rust on the whole car, looking quite rusty in a lot of areas. At some point I really do want to get a company to fully sort of sand and treat underneath the car. If I can just zoom in a bit there, you'll be able to see the rest of the exhaust. So that's one of the clamps that goes down to the non-res, and then down there another clamp to the sports cat. So it seems to all fit okay. So now the next thing is to actually go out for a spin and let's see what I think of the sound. Right, so I've got the GoPro set up like I did initially, and as if I'm back at the exhaust place, I'm going to do it with the door open actually, to listen to what it sounds like. Definitely better. It is definitely better. It just initially, I mean, yeah, you can tell, you know, it will be a loud exhaust when you sort of put your foot down in regards to it. It's an aftermarket, but it hasn't got that deep sound. I can tell it's going to have a little bit more of a raspiness. So, gonna get out on the road, let the car warm up, and let's do an internal sort of GoPro video again and see what I think. So I'm back at the same place I was at the beginning of my other video about the car. So I think I actually had the window slightly open. I think, can't remember, but initial results just coming back is I think I've sorted my problem. This is perfect for me. It's like a nice little rumble, a little bit of a deep tone, but it's not like dead deep and boomy inside the car. Then I can hear it sounds great. It's just like a little bit of a slightly farty, raspy sound as the revs like, you know, grow. As you sort of go higher up the rev range, you get this really nice like farty, raspy sound. But otherwise, you just hear this constant little kind of like, you know, little deep groan. I can hear a couple of little rumbles. I'm just going to drop it down a second. I'm going to go national speed limit. Oh, it sounds so good! love it. That sounds awesome. Just got to drop it down again. Let's get back into second. Oh, once it hits like 5,000 revs, sort of 5.5. Oh my god, the noise. It sounds like some sort of VTEC. That's the kind of noise I feel like I'm getting. That is so good. You just get this kind of buzz from the sound. It's not that really loud deepness. But then if I just do a few little... Yeah, it's still kind of blah, 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 blah. Just like revving between 2 and 3. You get this nice kind of burbles and crackle sounds. Oh, that sounds so good. It's like a little machine gun fire. Oh, that is addictive. That's so good. Ooh, that is invigorating. That is so nice. The thing is, what's like, I was talking to someone about this the other day, you know, this isn't a fast car. I wouldn't call it a fast car, you know, they called it even a warm hatch back in the day. But it doesn't bother me about it not being a super fast car, this. It's just so nice to drive. I love the sound, I love the normal aspirated power delivery of it. Now, I'm gonna do like what I did with the other one, so we can do a side-by-side comparison with the outcome. Is I'm going to do a screen recording and do the decibels, and we're going to do the, I think it was me quiet, just sort of ambient noise of the car with the engine on, then I'm going to do some revs, then I'm going to open the door and we're going to do revs from there. Oh my god, that sounded so good. Compared to the other car, it was like deep, like really deep and low, and then only when you got towards the top you got that kind of like slight raspy sort of metally sound. With this, when you do get to that kind of 5, just then when I was revving in it and I could hear it sort of doing little pops, it just buzzes, and I love that buzzing raspy sound. So I'll pop up on screen, I'll try and do a little tally thing, which was what it was, you know, inside, then revving, and then outside. And then obviously I could do a side-by-side as well, screenshot, just to show the average. But yeah, honestly, super happy with this setup now. A full Milltek, non-res by the way. And do you know what? From someone, I can tell you right now, because you do get a lot of opinions on this Milltek. A lot of people seem to say, oh, you'll regret it with the non-res. I honestly don't think it's very loud. This is actually a big step down from what I had with the other exhaust. In a way, maybe I'd actually like it a little bit louder. I guess if I go further with the car, you know, and do stuff like inlet cams and stuff like that, I don't know, will it get louder? But if it does, then I don't mind that, because actually I would actually say I'm really, really glad I did not get the resonated center section for this setup, because I think you're just going to be losing out on that buzz, that excitement of hearing that exhaust. Because I think it's actually not that loud at all. I really, really don't. You know, I've seen people get the non-res, just the catback, and say like, oh, you know, it's not that loud. And then some people are like, no, you know, they only want it a little bit more than standard. I honestly would say this isn't a massive difference over standard. But granted, with my standard exhaust, I got rid of the resonator, which I think opened it up quite a bit. So then to go to this setup, it wasn't a huge difference. So granted, you know, if you do like a standard sounding car, but you want the performance, then fair enough, get the resonated version. But otherwise, if you just want a bit of noise, you know, you don't want it too intrusive, it's not very deep and drony inside the car, then go for the non-res, especially for the catback. And if not, if you're going for a full exhaust, get the non-res in my opinion. If you want a bit of sound, but not too much, definitely got to go for the non-res. It sounds awesome. So anyway, I'm really happy now with the car and the setup. I'm really happy that I actually took on the job to take off the center section and back box, the custom one, and put on this new one. You know, it's something that, you know, in the past I would always go to the garage and have done for me. I would never have done this job myself. So yeah, I'm pretty proud that I've actually done that. So you think it's good that I've done it and you're happy with the exhaust, please give me a thumbs up, comment below what you think. And yeah, on to the next mods, on to the next videos with this car. Still got quite a few bits that I want to get done, especially before the big Ford fair. You know, I've got the car on the Oval Owners Club stand, and I want a few little bits doing if I can. If my own sort of spare funds allow it to be done, then I am, because I'm using every single pound, pretty much counting every pound basically at the moment, just to try and get stuff bought and done. So that's it, everyone. I'm going to enjoy my drive back home. So thanks all for watching. See you again soon. Bye.